So as I do this, I'm going to go into it just a little bit faster. When you do it without hitting a person, what happens is it goes into the internal body more because you bypass the external structures and you cause blockages in the bladder meridian.
Hey guys, Rob here with McDojoLife, and buckle up because you're going to hear and see some really crazy shit today. The man you just got done watching knock someone out without touching them goes by the name of Evan Pantazi. If you've been following the page for a while, you've seen his video clips before and have even heard his name referenced quite a bit. But if you're new to the page, you're in for a real treat, because he's a crazy person. But before I dig into his weird, crazy techniques and his off-the-wall logic, let's check out a little bit of his resume. According to Kyosho.com, a website that he himself developed and created, it says that he studied Judo and Wing Chun Kung Fu, among other martial arts, but it doesn't say any ranks whatsoever for those arts. That is extremely odd for a martial arts resume. That would be the equivalent of me saying that I studied culinary arts just because I watched some episodes of Kitchen Nightmares.
Plonka.
He did, however, mention his belt rank in American Kempo, which he himself says that he received his 4th degree black belt, or 4th Dan, in 1993. He then goes on to say that he received his 7th degree black belt from the head fraud in charge, George Dillman himself, in an art called Ryukyu Kempo, which if I said it wrong, I don't care, because Dillman's a fraud and it's made up garbage. But after that, the plot thickens, because then he himself says that he refused his 8th degree black belt from George Dillman as well. I really wonder what made him refuse the 8th degree from George Dillman. I mean, he was with the dude for long enough to receive his 7th degree, about to receive his 8th degree, and then just said, you know what, nah, I'll pass. Maybe, I'm just tossing it out there, but maybe it had something to do with George Dillman's speech about knocking people out based on the moon.
Everything is based on the flow and energy within the moon and the sun and the moon. Moon and the sun control gravitational pull. I don't care if you believe this one or not, I'm just going to tell you, but the larger the moon, the easier it is to tap people out. Below the waist, they are vulnerable up to noon. It's actually easier to break or dislocate a leg in the morning. Later in the day, it's harder to do the leg points. From noon until midnight, I want to concentrate most of my techniques here. Break the leg in the morning, injure him up here at night. I have my opponent, and I catch him on a hard point, and I have him on another hard point, and he's coming down. Now, if I kick him in the heart, we're gonna stop the heart. We have 3 hearts. You're gonna stop that heart or make it miss a beat. Noon to midnight. And then midnight it starts to reverse and go back to the legs. We can still break a leg using pressure points, but you'd have to give more of a shot because you know it's in the evening.
After he denounced that 8th degree black belt from George Dillman, he decided to start Kyushu International, where he can spread his own version of crazy. Hell, to add to that, not that long ago I actually did a breakdown video about one of his affiliate schools and some of the instructors within that school. Here's a little clip of that crazy.
First knockout, iron palm hand.
On a side note, after I made that video about that particular school, one of the people who belonged to that school contacted me directly and challenged me. Me being me, I accepted the challenge, but for some reason after I accepted the challenge, they changed their mind. This goes to show you that these people truly are that crazy and actually believe the crap that's being peddled out of these schools. But back to Pantazi. Even though Evan Pantazi broke away from George Dillman to start his own organization, they still seem to share very similar views. For instance, George Dillman believes that you can knock people out with sound.
Anytime you would attack anybody from back to front, if you add that sound, you enhance the technique because it pulls the chi back to front through that person. Ding!
Evan Pantazi seems to share that exact same belief that yes, you can knock people out and affect their bodies with sound.
If you twist back like a motorcycle on the triple warmer V and you crank in toward the hand, you'll see there's a little bit of a pain factor. But if I just hold that there, tap right into here, you'll see that he drops down with a little bit more pain. That was on the spleen 6. If I come up underneath the spleen 9 with this, it's a better effect as well. That's without the sounds, that's without the chew, that's just rushing energy. Now I don't want to do the both together to knock them out, but if I do this and just say chew, you can see the person has a problem with that as well.
Both Evan Pantazi and George Dillman have a slew of videos about knocking out people with sound and affecting their bodies physically without touching them with sound. But my favorite video about this subject that Evan Pantazi did has to be the video that he did on some South African sports network where he knocked a guy out with sound via handshake.
As Master Evan explains to everyone at the seminar what he is about to do, an extremely difficult Kyoshu-jitsu technique called a handshake knockout, the tension rises.
Handshaking.
There's dead silence as the 120-kilogram man hits the deck, lights out and all. A case in point for the art of Kyoshu-jitsu.
I mean, when the hell are you going to use that? Typically, a handshake signifies a friendly gesture, like we are not going to fight each other. But if you did try to aggressively shake someone's hand, you would look like that guy from that airplane video where he's freaking out.
I'm gonna shake your hand. I'm gonna shake your hand. Shake your hand. I'm gonna shake your hand.
See what I'm saying? Another similarity between Evan Pantazi and George Dillman is how confident they speak about absolute nonsense. Saying things that don't make any logical sense, that are proven to be absolutely wrong by science and fact. But yet they say it in such a way that their followers are just blindly going with it like it's true. Take this video, for example, from George Dillman, where he explains that he can somehow tell the sex of a child by feeling the pulses.
Now I'm going to explain this. Has nothing to do with this young lady. I only met her for the first time. But if a woman is pregnant and the baby is tested with the pulse on this hand, and the pulse beats stronger than this hand, she will be having a boy. That's how correct that is.
While I personally have never seen Evan Pantazi make that particular claim, I have seen him make a very strange claim on how he can give someone dysentery.
If he came in with that punch and I just hooked this down, there's the posture right there. Okay? I could be attacking that arm to numb out that hand. Okay? I'm not going to let you do that one because it also causes dysentery.
What the f are you talking about? That is absolute horseshit. That is not true at all. That's not how dysentery works. And this isn't Oregon Trail. As I mentioned before in this video, Evan Pantazi has to be hands down one of my favorite frauds to debunk. I've even used his techniques in some of our pressure test videos where I bring in legitimate, legendary martial artists for us to test nonsense techniques online. Here's one of those that I did with B-Mac from 10th Planet.
You can sort of pull me in, okay? Now, bigger guy's going to be able to do that easier for you, right? All you need to do is push the nerve here. Now, pull.
Oh no, push the nerve.
You gotta push the nerve. That's all you gotta do.
I'm not putting any pressure in. All I got is this finger putting the pressure on that nerve. That nerve is running right through your bicep. And if you put a shock into this nerve, it makes the muscle, the bicep, weaken. So you can't pull that arm up. Now, consequently, if the arm is up, you can pull it back more. I'm trying to get this into an arm bar. Now, you could do that jerking movement here, or I could just pluck this nerve right into here and weaken that.
You just gotta push the nerve.
Right back here. Have them pull against you, and you can pull again. Okay, and see how they can pull you up. Pull again. And see how they can't pull you.
Bro, he did a sit-up.
He's holding on. Okay, try to pull, and you see the resistance. Then push the nerve, and you see the body reaction already. I already got him.
Okay, let me give it a shot.
Actually dig into like the arm, like really get in there too. I want you to try to really do it.
I'm even using decent.
Here, come in here so you can see this real fast. You can see like the nail marks in my hand. Like he's really digging into this damn thing. Here, go for it. I mean, it doesn't feel pleasant.
Dude, it doesn't feel pleasant to me. There's no way I can break that.
And I mean, like once again, like, just so you can see, there's multiple spots where he's tried to do this, like, and it didn't affect my grip. I mean, it didn't feel great, but it didn't like hurt to make me go, well, I'll give you my arm so you can break it. That's not the only time that I've pressure tested his techniques either. I even pressure tested his techniques with legendary MMA fighter himself, Josh Barnett.
It does have a classic McDojo technique, and that is the pressure point.
Yes, he's thumbing the calf, and it looks like that's really all he's doing. He's, and I've been watching this shit for so long now. It's around the spleen 6 area.
Okay.
All right. So.
Spleen 6.
It's very important. It's nowhere close to your spleen, but if you actually do that, obviously it's not going to work, in my opinion anyway. The leg is behind the head.
Yes.
And then, he does it again, so you can see it with the
and then he does
cross.
it when the feet are crossed in the leg. Okay, yeah.
And it says it does it the same. It seems to work the same way both times. So do you believe that will work?
I think you would have a better chance of making something like this work. Maybe if you were the Incredible Hulk.
Okay.
Maybe if you were Magnus for Magnuson or Magnus Samuelson.
Okay.
And you have like an insane grip.
Are you willing to test it?
You want me to basically like finger bang you? All right, yeah, well, we could do that. And then, does that feel like spleen 6?
I mean, you have he's got a grip, dude, but it's uncomfortable.
You're not going to let go. I mean, maybe if I could find the separation of the muscle. And the whole time, just leaving this arm naked.
Yeah, and I think, I'll leave an example, I won't crank it.
Yeah,
even here,
there's nothing I could do.
Because even if I do pull, I have a feeling you would just probably sit up into me because my leg
Well, right. You know, if you're going to pull up, then I'm going to turn
and then I'm
straight angle.
Time to give this guy some Dillmans. I feel the ultimate irony here is that since he did study directly under George Dillman, that he's getting 5 out of 5 Dillmans, even though at this point, Evan Pantazi probably deserves his own grading scale. He talks completely out of his ass about medicine, about science, about anatomy, all of which can be disproven, and yet somehow his cult followers still follow him even though he is just constantly dead wrong and making up shit. He believes that he can just say sound at you and it will knock you unconscious. He believes he doesn't even have to do that. You can just project chi out of your hands as we showed earlier, and that will knock someone unconscious. And yet, according to his website, apparently has affiliate instructors all over the world. This brings us to the question of the day, brought to you by X Marshall. Be sure to answer the question of the day in the comment sections below, so that way you could be entered for a chance to win a $100 gift voucher that you could use at xmarshall.com. And hey, maybe you don't win. That's okay. You could still use promo code McDojo10 to get 10% off any of your purchases at xmarshall.com. With Evan Pantazi, we've covered at least 3 generations of nonsense that's still passed on today. George Dillman passed on nonsense to Pantazi. Pantazi passed on nonsense to his instructors. All of them seem to think that they themselves are 100% legitimate, even though all of it is provable to be false. So my question to you is, what do you consider legitimate or not in martial arts? Does it have to work in a street fight for you to consider it legitimate? Do you see value in things like entertainment and martial arts? Because I definitely do. Do you think that it's okay as long as the instructor's honest with you? There's so many ways to answer this. I am super curious what you have to say about it. So once again, what do you consider legitimate in the martial arts industry? As always, I look forward to reading your comments in the comment sections below. Thank you all for the likes, comments, shares, subscriptions, memberships. Check out McDojoLife.com. Keep the martial arts legit.
Things just haven't been the same. Living strange since my baby joined that dojo. Joined a McDojo. Now she tries to